Hello everybody, it is the Angry Honey Badger, and welcome to the tier list for patch 519. Now that we're a little ways into 519, the patch tier list is now available for viewing. Couple disclaimers, not actually a lot happened in patch 519 to really affect tons of champions. There was some stuff for sure, but not tons of actual champion changes. But nonetheless, just kind of think of this as patch 518.5. And now that Worlds has kicked off too, we can see a little bit more on what is happening on an international competitive stage level, and we can acquire that knowledge and put it into the list. So let's go ahead and dive on into S tier and see where things are currently sitting. So in on the S tier, this is God tier, welcome, and things haven't changed too much. We're going to talk about two champions. That of course is going to be Gangplank and Elise. Now, starting things off with Gangplank, Gangplank has a 100% pick and ban rate in Worlds at the moment and a 100% win rate. When he came out at first, I wasn't the biggest fan of him, but as I said, after I started playing him, I could see the potential, and it's still there. Gangplank's still quite good, even with the nerfs he's received. Gangplank's very, very viable, still very, very good. He gets to late game and he destroys. Same reason why Azir still sits up in here. Azir gets to late game and he still destroys. Still a great champion. But besides Gangplank sitting up there in a good spot, we have Elise now claiming top over Lee Sin. Lee Sin jumped up there for 518, but now Elise is back up to that spot. And more noticeably, Gragas is slowly falling down, but that's because of changes to him and the meta a little bit. But Elise is strong. She's being picked or banned just about every single game. She has a lot of control early game, and that's very important. Even with the slight nerfs she's gotten, she's still a very good champion. It hasn't really ruined her in any way. You still get her, and you still get to use her the same way. And realistically, the big change that helped her jump up the list was the duration on her cocoon. So positive changes to Elise just through this season have kept her up here, and now she's up here for now. I want to see how things change. I still think Lee Sin's an incredibly strong pick, and so is Nidalee. She still has such a good early game, and if she can get rolling, mid-game pressure. But this is the S tier for now. Moving things on to the A tier, this patch really has seen a lot of champions just shifting through the list, moving up within certain tiers, and a couple falling down or moving up. One we're going to talk about for sure is Darius. We've seen Darius a lot as well at Worlds, and one reason he's been actually slowly moving up through this list. Some people want to throw him in a God tier. I can't do that yet. I'm not convinced by it. I know he's played a lot, but he's lost a lot of games at Worlds, and the big problem with this is Darius is a super kiteable champion. It's a feast or famine style gameplay, honestly, with Darius. If you do well, you're probably going to destroy, and you're probably going to get a pentakill. But if you don't, and you have a mediocre game or even subpar game, you're usually not very good. You need to start immediately switching your build over to straight tank, because you just need to become a meat shield. Feast or famine is Darius. He's been moving up through the list because of the viability that he has, and he has a better chance of having this now with all the Juggernaut changes. And so he's going to find himself moving up slowly, but he might start to cap out around here. We'll see what the future holds and what future patches do, but for now, he's going to be sitting in a very good spot in A tier. Now, moving on to ADCs, actually have moved Kog'Maw out of mid lane. He was in A tier for mid lane, but I'm moving him to the ADC role for mid. AP mid Kog'Maw, it's kind of disappeared a little bit. I've been seeing it less often, and it's still good. It's just not as impactful as it was a couple patches ago. Now, moving him into the ADC role, we're seeing him at Worlds, and that affects him a little bit. But honestly, he's still a good champion and always has been for ADC. The problem is your team has to be built around you, and that makes him probably never going to make him get to the S tier, but he's at least in the great tier for now, so he's going to stay here. Moving things on to B tier, we're in the good and viable tier, very competitive still. A big champion that has fallen pretty far, honestly, is Maokai. Maokai has seen nerfs over the duration of this season, and he was very strong early on. And, you know, he was God tier at one point, realistically. Before I made the list, that's where he would have honestly been. But he's been nerfed. Changes have come in. Champion changes, item changes, all types of things have really made Maokai slowly fall. Granted, he's still in the good tier. He's not bad. But he has fallen out from where he was. So he's moved down on this particular tier list. Now, moving up slowly is LeBlanc. LeBlanc did get hit and hurt with nerfs earlier on in the season. Changing missile speeds and a few things on her. And it kind of just made her feel lackluster, and it kind of made her fall off. She's been coming back up because a few those changes at least were halfway reversed, so now things feel better. Missile speeds are back up, and abilities cast a little bit more smoothly and fluently for the LeBlanc players. She doesn't have a great win record currently at Worlds, not too worried about that. She's only played a couple times. She is moving back up. And we'll see if she can get to A tier. I would love to throw her in there, but I'm not quite sure yet. We'll have to see how a few of these other champions in the mix move up or down. So we'll keep an eye on a few other champions within this list. Moving on to C tier, this is okay. So nowadays, as I've been going through the tier list, and like I said, we're on the third iteration, the C tier is starting to become the tier of what I want to think of is like League Limbo. They're not like bad and they're not like great, and people who perform well on them make them seem really, really great, which is a good thing, and that's part of the reason, or part of the reason behind that people can make any champion look great is this might be hard for a handful of people to swallow, but League is a fairly well-balanced game. You can complain that some things overpowered, and yes, occasionally some things are blatantly overpowered, and they usually get nerfed. But usually if somebody does well on something, it might be because they're just better than you or they know what they're doing on a particular champion. We'll get to more of that later. But C tier is going to be kind of a limbo mode. Now, one of these champions sitting in limbo is Tryndamere. Tryndamere, after his rework, like 2 years ago, he was very good at the time, and he has just slowly fallen out of favor and kind of now sits in limbo because of other champions that have seen reworks or new champions that have just been released. Even with item changes that technically favor him in some ways, but really not in others, he just has found himself kind of sitting in a mediocre spot. It's kind of unfortunate for him. Luckily, I was never the biggest Tryndamere player, but he's sitting down here for now. Now, as for ADCs, Miss Fortune is actually going to sit in the same spot she was last time. She hasn't moved, but the changes to her in this patch, one of the champions most changed in this patch with positive buffs, I'm expecting her to move up, and within solo queue, her win rate above other ADCs has actually mildly skyrocketed. So I'm a little hesitant to move her yet, but she might see that coming up within the next one. The changes are positive, and I think she's not terrible right now, to be honest. If you're also noticing, Twitch is also in C tier now, so happy for the Twitch players. Woo! D tier is the bad tier. These champions need some kind of help, in my opinion. Akali also got moved out of here. If you noticed, she's up a tier. Happy birthday to her. Singed, Fiddlesticks is now a jungler, not a support. He's still in the jungle. We're going to keep him there for now. Galio, still going to sit there for mid. Don't have any ADCs in here right now. Positive changes happen to the lower ADCs on the list, and for that, they're going to get moved up. And I don't feel comfortable moving in the other ones down here because I don't think they're there yet. So Graves is teetering on that line, to be honest, but we'll see. And then support Taric, obviously going to be sitting down here. He's got a few issues, but, you know, maybe the future has some hope for him. And finally, this is the F tier. I know this is listed as the joke tier and difficult to place tier. Realistically, F tier is a tier I don't want to put champions in, and it's going to stay as the difficult to place tier. I've said it before, Teemo's probably a B and in some people's hands an A. Poppy's just so damn hard to place. Realistically, I don't think these champions are terrible. They struggle from different things. Community expectations, all types of things. If you've ever watched me while I stream, I play Teemo and Poppy occasionally in stream. I think within the last handful of streams, I haven't lost a single game on Teemo or Poppy. I'm not going to move them up because I think they're good. I can't place them. They're just too difficult still to place. Teemo did get nerfed this season, but he's still not bad, and if you are good with him and you know what I'm talking about with like good Teemo players, they single-handedly can win games. But we just can't move these champions for now. They're going to sit here. That is the champion tier list, though, for 519. I'm not going to have a recap screen, or rather have you just look at footage, because the recap screen is annoying for me to make, honestly, and it looks ugly. So if you just want to rewind and pause on any of those screens, you can see where those champions fall. But I'm comfortable with where the list is at. If you want to share this with anybody, I much appreciate it. Leave it a like as well. And as always, if you want to leave your comments down below, I'm always willing to try to answer questions if you have them. If you're not exactly sure why somebody was placed somewhere, we can talk about it, but just don't rage, because I honestly don't care, and I'll probably just delete the comment if you just go ham on stupidity. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tier list. I hope you have a great 519. We look forward to 520 and Kindred, and we'll see how things go in the future. But other than that, good luck out there on the fields of justice.